Now today I'm just working on this honeysuckle, and I'm working with pen and wash. So it's a waterproof pen, which you can see I've got in my hand here. And this is a 003 nib, so a really fine nib. We can get a variety of these actually. You can get a variety of different nibs. This is a one by Pilot, which I use. This particular one, which I'm using at the moment, is a Unipin fine liner. So for example, that one is a 01. And you get a variety of sizes of these Pilot ones here, 02, and then there's a 03, like that one there. Look. And you can see the nib widths are a little bit different. So you compare those two, from a 0.03 to that one, massive difference in nib widths. So if I just show you what I mean on some scrap watercolour paper, look. So if I just bring these together like so, look at the difference with those. See what I mean? So what I tend to do, I use a thicker one, or the wide nib, for those kind of blocking in areas where you need to kind of fill in big, large, dark gaps. But I also use different techniques as well. So when I'm working with this one, for example, the 003 one, I use stippling techniques. So just by loads and loads of dots like that. Okay, because all this is going to be covered with watercolour as well. Some lovely colours I'm going to put over the top of that. Hence a waterproof pen. Now, stippling technique is really good to work on that pointillism, because what you can do with this, you can ease off those marks to reduce the area. So to, in other words, create lighter sections. So if I increase the dots, for example, around here, really increase them. So lots and lots and lots and lots of dots, like that, okay? So it's getting darker and darker all the time. And then as you work away, just ease off those dots. Leave larger gaps in between, and don't try to press harder to make it darker. Just use the weight of the pen as you're doing this, and that's all you need to do with that. But you can see already by doing this and gradually easing off, spacing those dots further apart, and using the lightest of pressure, look at the difference you've got from that though. So from the dark all the way to the light, so now you've got a lovely kind of gradual feel from light to dark. Another way you can do it, there's many techniques by the way, we're using pen and ink, but this is just a couple that I tend to use most of the time, 2 or 3 really. You can use cross hatching. So the idea would be, you'll have parallel lines like so, okay, look at that, loads of neat parallel lines, turn it around and do the same again over the other direction, so opposite way, like this, okay, fairly neat, it's not even but it's near enough. So that's one way. Then you can go the other way. If you want to get even darker, then you go that direction. Okay, you want to take more time than this over what I'm doing to make it even neater. And then you can do the same again from the other direction. So you can go really, really dark with those marks. But the beauty about working with cross-hatching is that, again, what you can do, you can vary that, you can make it lighter. So if I continue this direction, for example, I can just ease off the pressure of the pen, just increase those down there a little bit further. So ease off that pen a little bit and then widen those gaps with hardly any pressure on the pen. And what I tend to do, instead of having the pen, when you're holding your pen normally, I'm left-handed obviously, is that you hold your pen sort of that angle, wouldn't you, normally, or thereabouts. So what I would do, I would then lower the pen, draw on your finger at the same time. I would lower the pen, something like that sort of angle. So you're just catching the very tip of that pen. So I'll show you what I mean, look. So if I just do this here, I'll do it here, look. I'm just catching the ink on the edge of that tip. But I'm not pressing too hard, I don't want to damage that tip. And I can get lighter and lighter and lighter with my lines as you come along there. Let's see what I mean. And that's a way of getting a gradiated feel. And you can do the same again this way, but again leaving kind of wider gaps between those lines and easing off that pressure. Ease off that pressure, and look at the difference that's made. Again, we got from dark to light, and we can get even darker. We can add even more lines on this end, look. Instead of just filling it in with just a block of colour, which we can do with those obviously thicker nib pens, what you can do is very lightly cross hatch all the time to get that effect. Okay, so that's one way. Another way I tend to work with as well, which I've just been working on this honeysuckle with, is scumbling, which is all this effect round here. See all that there? And all scumbling is, I'll over exaggerate on purpose. Okay, so I'll show you what I mean. It's something like this. If you never scumbled, that's scumbling to me. Okay, I'm sure different people have different ways of doing this. This is just my way, the way I tend to work when I'm working with pen and wash. Or pen and ink, whichever way I tend to work, you know, whichever I prefer to do. So that's the scumble. But if you do that on a smaller scale, and if you do that with the pen instead of there, bring it down again, so just catching that tip on one side, and rotate that pen every now and then as well, so you're not damaging that tip. And then what I can do, you'll have to zoom in for this a bit, okay? I'll just zoom in a fraction more. I can then catch the edge of that pen tip and scumble some very fine, very light marks like so, look. And that's scumbling. So when I'm working on this area here, let's pick a section, shall we? Okay, I'll just show you on this painting, or drawing at the moment. For example, if I want to work down this side, what I'm not going to do, I'm not going to simply draw a direct line all the way down. What I'm going to do is scumble and skip. So I'll leave gaps in between, and there's these fine hairs as well in this honeysuckle. So I'm going to leave a few little gaps here and there, just to create a line. So don't just outline, it's not a cartoon drawing, remember. So you don't want to create that. You're trying to be more an illustrative artist at the end of the day. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to use the pen on its side, okay? Start in the dark area first so you can just get the hang of it. And then go to the lighter area, just using the weight of the pen. You're not pressing on at all. Just the weight of the pen. Just very lightly, add some finer marks within this section. See what I mean? So on that reference photograph, we can just see in the top corner here, you can see that this area here is really pale, really light. So when I have my colours over the top, I'll ease off that colour as well. I really will. And at least that way around, I can keep it nice and pale. Because when you're working with pen and wash, when I'm working with it, I don't want to go too dark. You know, because the thing is, if you go too dark, really dark like these areas here, you find that, well, the colours won't stand out enough. The colours will just be too kind of blackened in. It will be too dark to see those lovely rich colours that you put on the paper. So I suggest you do, ease off those marks. Don't go too mad with the pen. Okay. So you can see I'm scumbling away here using this edge, the edge of the pen for this area here. Oh, and when we get down to the very light section down here, just going to add a few little fine hairs there, and then carry on scumbling just around there, look, like so. It gets a little bit darker down here. So what I can do, like we did around here, we can scumble by adding more scumbling marks over the top of what we've already done, and that will gradually darken that little area there. Get darker and darker with every layer that we add over the top. And that's how I tend to work on something like this. Now, there's all one layer at the moment, so we've only got a flat image. So now we're going to look at the light and dark sides of that. So we know the light's hitting it right on the very top and slightly on the right hand side of this area. So that would mean that we need to darken slightly, not too much remember, the left hand side. So again, we can scumble, or we could stipple. We could use more than one technique in one area. So I've already scumbled in the area, so let's try stippling for a change, shall we? So this is just very lightly stippling, just the weight of the pen again, bringing that up and bringing it down just to create a bit more of a shape there. Okay, and then I can go back to scumbling, and then very lightly scumble and ease off that pressure and lower down that pen again as you start to work around the side here towards the middle of this area. Alright, got the idea there. Okay. I mean, cross-hatching comes into effect when you're on those really dark areas as well. But you can do an entire painting or an entire drawing just using cross-hatching, as you can using stippling, as you can using scumbling. I know. So there's so many ways, and there's more ways than that as well. If you're not sure, have a look here on YouTube and you see what I mean. There's lots of tutorials here on YouTube that tell you how to do that. But I've got quite a few of my own as well. So have a look through and see what you see. Okay, I put a little link to the top right hand corner just there for you, for another one I've got on the on here on YouTube that you can watch. So this is now increasing down this other side. I'm going to go back to stippling again, down here. So and just darken this one little area down here, look. And now you can see the curve, the shape starting to form, can't you? I need to do this all the way down, but I'm not going to darken this side down here. I'm just going to very lightly stipple, very lightly, using the pen on its side a bit more now. I've not changed to a thicker nib, as you can see. I'm just staying with this pen for now. Quite like this size actually. Nice and fine. Okay. And then it's going to be darker just down here. And for that, I can actually draw a line, like so, and then stipple away from that line. So therefore it's not just one solid line on one side, on both sides. Okay, so that's darken that area down there. Now on the other side of here, we're starting to go darker there, I know. But on the other side of here, we can then do the same again. Pull a few hairs out here and there. Just flick a few out, not many. And then again, scumble in those areas. See what I mean? Just very lightly catching the side of the pen. Again, it's tilted down that way. And that works really, really well. I'm going to scumble over these stipple marks now on this side, just to slightly darken this area now. You can see how dark it is on that reference photograph. There's a little bit of a line coming down there as well. So to create that line, I'm going to scumble in that sort of curve, that direction. You have to keep looking backward and forward at that reference photograph every few seconds. That's what I tend to do on a regular basis. And I've got mine on a tablet, or in my case actually an iPad, should I say, in front of me here on my painting table. Okay, so I'll give you some ideas how I would work with pen. So what I'll do next, I'll show you by adding a little bit of colour over the top when I've completed all of this drawing, okay? But just take your time with it, and most of all, just enjoy yourself. You know, keep looking at that reference photograph and keep on track with where you are in that photograph as well. I know it's, as I said, it's so easy to lose your place.